All right, November 17th. I turned another knob, shifter knob. So decided to do something a little bit different this time. It's a little bit taller. Let's see if I can get them to stay here. Maybe a 3/8 of an inch taller, maybe half. Anyway, so this is the one that I turned yesterday that I had already done a video on. And the only two things I've done since then is I took the linseed oil back off, sanded it again. I'll tell you why in a second. But good friend of mine, Ward, out there, made a comment and said, why don't I go ahead and fill the top here with some sanding dust and some glue mixed together. And I'd forgotten that I used to use that technique back in the day when I was, like I said yesterday, building custom drums. Not that I had to do it with the drums that often, but actually maybe on the bearing edges on occasion if I have some chip out or whatever. But other wood projects that I'd done, it is a cool technique. So I did do that. It's still not perfectly filled there, but that's definitely better than it was. So I'm going to leave it at that. But the main thing I wanted to do on this second one is just to kind of do something a little different and give it a little bit more of a hold right here for the hand, and put a couple little decorative lines in there. But I bought two inserts. They turned out to be the 3/8 16 pitch that I thought. But I didn't like the way, and I drilled a 1/2 inch diameter hole and then had to widen it a little bit to try to get that thing to go down in there. But it actually broke off as I was running it down in there. And that's why I kind of ground it, cut it off as flat as I could and then ground it back. But, it's in there. It's not coming out or anything. But I thought, you know what? I don't really need to do an insert particularly, I don't think. If I've got a mechanism that screws up against the bottom side to tighten that's already there, that tightened against the bottom side of this. So what I did is I drilled this hole 5/16 in diameter, and then I used a regular tap, a 3/8 16 pitch tap, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but I tapped the wood in there, and I tried it out on the gear shift rod, and it works great. So I don't think it's necessary to put a metal insert in there necessarily, at least in my case. I think this will work just fine. And if it does tend to want to come loose in the future, then I'll put some epoxy down in there, and I don't think it will though. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is put a coat of, I've decided to go a different route. Instead of the linseed oil, because I don't like how it darkened that and took away some of the purplish color. When I put a finish on here, it's going to change the look of this somewhat, and some of the color will be lost due to the finish itself. But in keeping as transparent as I can, I'm just going to put a coat of this shellac on, and this will seal it. Again, this is an oily wood, so I'm going to seal that off, and then I'm going to use General Finishes high performance satin top coat. Now, I would do gloss on this if it were, a Maserati or something like that, Jaguar or whatever, nice gloss, and buffed finish, which I could do. I did do a lot of gloss finishes when I was doing Artisan Drum Works. This drum right here actually was done for Drum Magazine. I don't know if you can see the gloss sheen up there on that reflection, but anyway, using a great material for building gloss finishes, polyester stuff was nasty to work with, but super hard and very good for buffing out. Anyway, I don't want to do that on a Jeep. So I want the Jeep to still kind of just have a rustic look and whatnot. So I don't want a gloss finish on these. So I'm going to do this satin, but at first I'm going to put a coat of the shellac. Once that dries for about an hour, then I'll put 3 coats of the top coat here of the high performance satin. So here we go. All right, so I've got a coat of the shellac sealer on here, and I'm getting ready to scuff sand them before I put the top coats on. So kind of nice getting to use my spray booth that I made earlier in the year. So anyway, here we go. All right, I got my Asturo AOM gun that I've had for, I don't know, probably 20 years now. This gun has done probably, I would say 97% of all the drums that I made, and I made probably 300 or 400 snare drums and several drum sets. Anyway, it used to have a nickel plating on it, and it started to wear off many years ago, so I just decided when I refinished it to go ahead and take it the rest of the way off, and it turns out that it's actually a copper body with a stainless steel innards, you know, the inside parts. So, all right, here we go. All right, well, here they are. They're all done. They've got 3 coats of that satin urethane by Good General Finishes, and yeah, turned out well. I'm gonna let it cure overnight before I put them on, but I think I'm gonna put this one on the T5, you know, the regular transmission shifter. This one will go on the transfer case, Dana 300. So yeah, another cool little project, and I'm glad I you know, decided not to do the linseed oil, because to me you can see some more of the coloring in the wood where the linseed oil was really making it kind of dark, too dark, and this is just transparent here. So the other thing about linseed oil is it darkens with age, so I definitely didn't want that. Yeah, I'm pleased with how these turned out, and my friend Ward, again, he had a good idea, and it looks like it's covered the top of that pretty well. So thanks again to Ward. So anyway, that's gonna do it, and we'll see you on the next project. Take it easy.